Welcome to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Circle, the simple and AI-powered rewards and recognition platform for employee engagement.
India's tech industry is booming, driven by relentless push towards innovation and a growing demand for advanced digital solutions. At the heart of this growth lies a critical practice of upskilling. This effort is not just about filling skill gaps, it's about empowering employees to drive the next wave of innovation, enhancing their careers and ensuring that India remains a global tech leader. So dear listeners, welcome to another episode of Vantage Influencers Podcast. I'm your host Sanjeevani Saikia, and today we have with us Priyanka Anand, Vice President and Head, HR Southeast Asia, Oceania and India at Ericsson. In this episode, we'll delve into how upskilling is fueling India's tech growth and explore the most effective strategies for developing a future-ready workforce in this ever-evolving industry. So let's begin our conversation. Hi Priyanka, thank you so much for joining in today's conversation.
Hi Sanjeevani, pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Pleasure is ours. Before we dive into today's topic, upskilling, fueling India's tech evolution, I'd love to hear about your professional journey so far.
All right. So in a brief, I have more than 2.5 decades of HR experience. I've been in this industry called ICT, which is telecom, IT, and allied services for more than 25 years, as I said. I have had the privilege of working in transformative roles where I've grown organizations or scaled them up from 1,000 to 20,000 people. I've managed to build operations across more than 6 different countries, servicing more than 100,000 employees. And I've also managed to drive cultural assimilation across multiple geographies for Ericsson in the last more than 15 plus years. And overall, I've managed to do a lot of greenfield projects in the space of HR, enhance employee value proposition, and make sure that, with the HR interventions that we are driving, we are accelerating business growth many folds. So all in all, a transformative HR leader with a depth of experience in multiple facets of HR, but a proactive partnership approach with the business to accelerate business growth and create opportunities for people to grow as the business grows.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, Priyanka. I really appreciate it. With your permission, I'd like to delve into today's conversation on the topic.
Sure, you have my permission. Let's go.
Great. Amidst the burgeoning demand for specialized skill set, there exists a palpable gap between the skills possessed by the workforce and those demanded by the market. And I guess this dissonance not only possesses challenges, but also presents opportunities for reflection and strategic intervention. So right now, I think it's important to understand how is the demand and supply of skill sets evolving in the rapidly changing landscape of the Indian tech industry. So what would you like to say about that?
Again, it's a pertinent challenge and a situation that all of us are dealing with, right? So just to start with the big picture, it's quite evident through lots of research and study papers as we go through the current realities that there is a visible skill shortage. And it's projected that, at least in the telecom space, there will be a gap of 2.4 million workforce skilled people needed by the end of 2025, which clearly means that if we have to feed the needs of the upcoming talent requirement for the industry, we will need to have an accelerated upskilling, reskilling journey. And what's more important is that when we do this, we will also be able to combat the challenges that we experience through the change in the technology. So for example, the whole onset of 5G has been the fastest change that we've ever experienced. And the shift in technology clearly creates that we need to get new upskilling pathways, new learnings, and new pools of people with the required skill sets, right? So there is a definite demand for new skills. We also need to focus on getting people to fit into the specialized roles that these new skills will create, which is 5G in our case, right? So We are going towards introducing new technologies in 5G, artificial intelligence. And when we upskill and reskill our people in these technologies, we also need to find new use cases that create proof points for the industry at large and also for the society, and how we can benefit the businesses and society through the introduction of these new technologies. And when we create those use cases, we've got to also look at a stronger and strengthened industry partnership and an ecosystem that will accelerate the upskilling drives, but also bridge the gap that we need.
True. As we examine the repercussions of the widening skill gap, I guess it becomes very evident that this discordance exerts a profound influence on the ongoing transformation journey. From hindering innovation to impeding scalability, I guess the ramifications are multifaceted. So, Priyanka, please help us understand how this discrepancy influences the ongoing transformation and what factors particularly contribute to this gap.
So, Sanjeevni, I would say a couple of things in my mind, right? Looking at the big picture first.
Yes, sure.
India is definitely something, which is on an unprecedented growth path.
True.
We are expected to become the third largest economy, is what most of the reports indicate,
Yes.
With a GDP of more than $5 trillion. And that is just a journey, because the next milestone is also quite clearly marked out now, where we are saying we will be almost touching 7 trillion GDP by the end of 2030. So this will, of course, need us to think and do things very differently than we've ever done before. So we definitely have an ambition, as we see the government's projections now, to lead Industry 4.0, but also we are embarking on a journey of accelerating our ambition of being digitally equipped, so being a digital empowered India. And this vision will rely on having a strong base of digitally skilled workforce. Why I'm saying all of these things is because one pure reason: we as Ericsson in the telecom industry, we provide 4G and 5G and the whole digital infrastructure based on this to the people in this country, right? So that becomes the foundation to accelerate the Digital India program. And hence, what's quite clear to us is to strengthen the digital infrastructure that will become the foundation to drive Digital India vision. We need to upskill our workforce and our people and leverage these new technologies to both bring value to the society and industry, but also to make people employable. So all in all, technology first, upskilling will be the only way to combat the current situation. And to be able to capitalize the future, we will have to accelerate that journey.
I think in this answer, you have very beautifully explained the importance of technology first. So that was a really good response. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Again, in envisioning a future-ready workforce, the imperative lies in prioritizing technology first, upskilling initiatives. And it's a known fact. So please elaborate on the importance of prioritizing technology first, upskilling to create a brighter future for the workforce. Additionally, which specific skills are crucial for individuals to prepare for the dynamic landscape ahead. I think this is going to be a follow from your previous response.
Right, Sanjeevni. So I think just to bring it back, because we've spoken so far all about technology and technical skills, which are definitely needed. And there's an evident gap, like I said, between what is needed and what we really have on ground available for us to leverage as technical talent pools right now. What's extremely evident and critical is to create a balance between hard skills and soft skills, right? Because at any given point in time, it will be very crucial that we balance between the two and hence navigate this entire dynamic leadership landscape that lies ahead of us. So just to give you a couple of examples, right? To me, I think what's quite clear is I could have lots of individual stars coming to us with 5G competence. But unless they decide to work as one team, take everybody in the team along with them and make sure that we are creating talent repositories and not just talented individuals, there's no way we will succeed as an industry or as a company.
True.
So To me, the hard skills and the soft skills have to come at play to bring out the best in any current given situation. Likewise, another example that I very closely associate with is there are lots of people with great technical expertise, but some jobs may require you to do different things than just be technically competent. It could be something like problem solving abilities, or it could be something like having, a proactive approach towards looking at problems, or a solution orientation should be stronger. So at any given point in time, there has to be clear focus on investing in both soft skills, along with making sure that we build expertise in the technical skills or hard skills. The other thing I have really curiously observed and also invested in is having a curious learning mindset. Now, why is it very important is because I've seen many cases, but let me talk to you about just one of them, right? So I had one of my employees called Smita in my team some years ago, and she was a very strong administrative resource and a generalist in multiple fields. But she was always very curious, wanted to learn, was very keen on upskilling herself, and at every given point in time was self-driven to attend courses, to be part of the workshops and do lots of industry events. So with that proactive approach and a curious learning mindset, she ended up leveraging AI as one of those areas that she felt will become a complete game changer in the times to come. And very early on, she started to take courses and then learn AI and experimented and start doing some small pilots into various facets within our own team. And today, what I can proudly say is because of that approach and that mindset, she has led lots of initiative across multiple different teams within the HR function, whether it's about driving initiatives of leveraging or integrating AI in recruitment, or AI in leadership programs, or AI in learning methodology, creating personalized learning programs. So there's lots that we've been able to do by people in the team having that learning, curious mindset. And that's what one of these examples kind of explained to you. So my overall message is that individuals have to stay curious, and they also have to build both their technical skills, but also soft skills, and be ready to experiment with newer skills and embrace them versus resist them. That's the only way we can be successfully tiding over any changes that come our way.
True. There's a very popular saying that is surfacing right now is that AI will not exactly replace jobs, but people who knows AI will. So do you agree with that statement? As you've said about Smita, the example that you've shared.
200%, Sanjeevni, because to me, AI will only open up newer jobs, interesting jobs, will have better ways of leveraging people's skills. And what it will take away is jobs that can be done without too much of manual or human intervention. So then it will free up time for people to do more interesting jobs, interesting tasks. And in the same breath, what I would say is, once you embrace AI, it clearly opens up newer avenues for people to do things with higher quality at lesser time, freeing up time for individuals to acquire, learn new skills, and try and do different jobs or different kind of roles, right? So only when we start to embrace AI and leverage it to its full capacity, it will have an exponential impact on the new roles it can create and the efficiency it can deliver to the current roles individuals are involved in doing today.
Interesting. Priyanka, now moving on, how does the implementation of strategic upskilling initiatives affect employee retention and contribute to fostering a more engaged workforce? So this question is actually kind of an attempt to understand the employee retention part in this context.
Right. So I'll just start from your first part of the question, Sanjeevni, when you spoke about upskilling, right?
True.
To me, the secret sauce of upskilling is not about feeding people with trainings that they need to do the current jobs well. To me, strategic upskilling happens in any situation when we are empowering our people, our employees, to have a flexible approach towards learning, which clearly means that employees are empowered to undertake anytime, anywhere learning by extensively leveraging technology, giving people access to not just learning content of what's relevant for their current roles, but also learning what they want to do futuristically. So it also prepares them for not just here and now, but also for the future. So upskilling only happens when it's self-driven, when it's expected in an organization, and where people are empowered to design their own curated learning journeys and also define what works the best for them when it comes to their learning agendas and learning journeys. Now, to me, what's also important in the same breath is that we also align these learnings with business objectives, business goals, and also foster a culture of learning in ways that learning becomes zero tolerance, right? So people understand that you don't do learning on the side. It's a mainstream expectation. And if people are not investing in learning, then it's not going to be an acceptable behavior or an acceptable act. So just giving you one simple example, right? So you spoke about retention as one big aspect of how does it, tie up to how upskilling ties up to retention. So when we were deploying 5G in India last year, right, this was unprecedented pace of growth. We hadn't done 5G deployments ever before. We didn't have too many people who were experts in deploying 5G. And the rate at which we were deploying was massive. There's no way we could have done this without having experts on the ground. So what we did at Ericsson was we started to import talent from other parts of the world where we had deployed 5G. So we brought in experts. And they came from all over other parts of the world, right, where we've done that deployment. And what happened was a two-way win, right? So it was a great opportunity for those experts to come and experience such a massive scale of 5G deployment, look at the complexity and solve it, and experience 5G deployment in an unprecedented manner. The win-win for the local people was that they got to work along with people who were experts that clearly accelerated their learning pace. Because when you have people sitting next to you who've done that, and they're teaching it to you on the job and through practical experiences and with their expertise, it just accelerates the pace of learning for the people who are learning it for the first time. And to me, because of this entire approach, we created a huge amount of motivation and engagement for our people, both the ones who were training and the ones who were getting to learn. And then we managed to create a record-breaking deployment of 5G across the country. And to me, this kind of approach of cross-collaborating, learning from each other, creating on-the-job learning and training creates a huge amount of engagement. And that in turn yields retention and a highly engaged workforce, which is ready to go the extra mile to make sure that we have magical successes in whatever we do.
Great. Amidst the backdrop of talent scarcity and again retention challenges, recent business school graduates find themselves at a crucial juncture. I believe these graduates must equip themselves with a diverse skill set that transcends traditional boundaries. So, in the face of ongoing talent availability and retention challenges, from your perspective, Priyanka, what essential skills should recent business school graduates possess to excel in today's competitive job market? From the previous answer that you have given, one, I'd take the significance of cross-collaboration. Would you like to elaborate more?
So cross-collaboration, like I said, is extremely relevant because the geopolitical situation that we are living in now, right, creates different kind of challenges that have, again, never been experienced before.
Yes.
So what's quite clear is that the only thing that is happening at the fastest pace possible today is change, and a change in very unexpected manners. And like you just said, there is a huge amount of challenge when it comes to finding the right talent and retaining the right talent or the best talent, right? And for the business school graduates, as you said, Sanjeevni, it's extremely critical that they invest every single day towards securing that they're well-rounded into multiple facets of skills and be successful in the competitive job market that we are witnessing today. So a couple of things from my side that I have learned over the years through my experience of being in the industry and having worked alongside with many business school graduates is being extremely focused towards learning, right? So a continuous learning mindset is so critical because unless you have that, it's impossible to stay, at pace with the changing world. So there has to be a motivation to adapt, to grow, to acquire new skills throughout the careers. You never get to a point where you believe that you've learned enough or you know what you need to know to be able to do a good job. So the mantra has to be continuous learning at every single stage of your career, whether you're starting or you're mid-career towards the senior end of your career spectrum, right? So that's one. Second is, in the same breath, I would say staying curious. Because if you're curious, you will always be embracing newer ways of doing things. You'll always question the assumptions. You'll be experimentative to explore new ideas. And that in turn will yield innovative best practices. So having a continuous learning approach, having a curious mindset, and staying curious. On top of it, networking with people is extremely critical, because only when you meet different people who are in different realities of how the world is evolving, that you learn diverse perspectives. So nurturing both professional and personal relationships so that you can get insights from what's happening around the world and get a diverse perspective will only happen through that. And to be able to successfully network, what's important is to also spend a lot of time honing your interpersonal skills. So the other message would be, make sure that you're investing enough in honing your interpersonal skills, which in simple terms boils down to having effective communication, prioritizing collaboration and teamwork, and making sure that one can succeed in diverse environments. Because to me, it's going to become a borderless world. So it's important that we can succeed in working in diverse environments with people with diverse backgrounds, in diverse industries, and that will be extremely critical. Last but not the least is being adaptable. And this is a very important skill to have, because only when you're adaptable, you can deal with the change that is moving at a very accelerated pace today than ever before. So when one is adaptable, you're ready to pivot into seizing new opportunities, evaluating emerging opportunities, and also deal with the dynamic business landscape, right? So to me, people have to be both adaptable and resilient to be able to deal with this change. So all in all, whether it's a business school graduate or an engineering school graduate, my message will be stay curious, have a continuous learning mindset, make sure that you're honing your interpersonal skills, you're adaptable and resilient, and also that you're networking with people in all possible forums. Last but not the least, it's important that you align all of this with the organizational objectives. So having a very clear alignment of your personal goals and career goals with the objectives of the organization that you are serving to secure mutual success is going to be extremely critical, because it can't be just about me. It's not just about the individual. It's also about what I'm doing with all of this to make the organization I'm responsible for successful. So to me, mutual success has to be a goal which is clearly called out throughout the journey.
Yes.
Right. And then I would just, Sanjeev, to wrap it up, I'll give one example, right? So because we go a lot to hire from campuses, because your question was more about the business school, and we go to business school, and we also go to a lot of engineering in colleges, right? And we have our own graduate hiring program that we called Ascent. Now, one of the students that we hired last year, within a couple of months of joining, showed a lot of interest in embracing newer technologies, was open and curious about learning what's happening within the organization, had a huge amount of learning mindset, so curious learning mindset, and was also able to put himself forward in front of different leaders, different team members, and also was wanting to walk the extra mile to explore multiple frontiers of technology, right? So with that curiosity, reaching out, networking, and being in the forefront, he was very quickly positioned as somebody who could represent our company. Now, imagine he was just coming out of the university, and he was positioned to represent Ericsson at India Mobile Congress, where he was talking about a very cutting-edge technology intervention that is called digital twins, and the relevance of digital twins with 5G for enterprises, right? Now, of course, he's an engineer by profession, but the point that I'm trying to make is it's how willing you are to go the extra mile, That is what gives you the winning edge. And that mindset should always stay with every single individual throughout their careers.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing this, Priyanka. Again, you have underscored some really crucial points, and I'm sure our listeners must have taken note of each.
Super. Thank you so much, Sanjeevni.
Again, at the forefront of India's tech evolution stands Ericsson, spearheading innovation and driving transformative change. Through a steadfast commitment to upskilling and fostering collaboration, Ericsson is not only shaping the future of technology, but also contributing to India's emergence as a global hub of technological prowess and innovation driven growth. Since today, it's a great day for us since we have you with us. Our listeners would like to know, how is Ericsson driving India's tech evolution, thereby contributing to nation's emergence as a hub of technological innovation and growth? It would be wonderful to know this from you.
Thanks, Sanjeevni. I'll be excited to talk about this because for Ericsson, India has been a very important country, right? And this is not a recent discovery. Ericsson has been present in India for over more than 120 years.
Yes.
And we have been partnering to the country's telecommunications journey for ever since, right? So this has been one of our most treasured journeys to see how India is going through the whole technology revolution, but also how the telecommunications journey is becoming foundational, right, in many ways. So just to give you a gist, we have supported as Ericsson all mobile generations in India from 2G to 5G. Right, so we went through 2G, then it was 3G, 4G, and now the whole onset of 5G. Ericsson was the first telecom equipment company which also started to manufacture in India, right? Because everybody was talking about deploying services. Very few companies spoke about manufacturing, and we did. And this was way back in 1994. And today, what I can proudly say is that around 95% of the products that we have supplied to our customers across this country are manufactured at Ericsson's state-of-art facility that we have in Maharashtra in Pune, right? So, like I said, the commitment has been ever since, getting stronger. And as India embraces the 5G revolution, both upskilling and transforming the industry's workforce has become paramount in many ways. And again, at Ericsson, we are not only upscaling our own workforce, because that will be a very myopic view. It's important, and we do that. But we are also very proactively running upskilling programs that will benefit the youth of this country. So, for example, we have recently spoken about this publicly now, but we've been working on this partnership with TSSC, which is enabling youth in this country to get employment based on the learning that we provide through the 5G deployment, right? Or things like IoT. So this partnership is going to foster many different avenues for people to both get learnings, but also become employable. So that's one of those things, right? Partnership with TSSC. The other big thing I can talk about is our partnership with DOT, which is Department of Telecommunication. And we've entered into a collaboration with DOT, wherein we have a commitment to offer access to Ericsson Educate. And this is a program where it's a 21st Century Technologies program, where Ericsson's online learning platform will be available or will be provided to 100 institutes with 5G labs. And the third big thing is we've opened our Ericsson Educate platform, right? And this is again a big thing, because now with this, we will have 10,000 students.
Interesting.
From these institutes, and that will come, and they will have access to learning material on key technologies. And these 10,000 people can go through subjects, that will be again at the introductory level, but they will include newer technologies like automation, telecommunications, artificial intelligence, IoT, 5G, and even machine learning. So it's a massive rollout in many ways that will create a much faster adoption of new technologies than ever before. And the last thing I would say, Sanjeevni, to this is we're also partnering with institutes like IIT Kharagpur, IIT Chennai, to already start working on the 6G research. So just to summarize, it's been a very critical journey in many, many ways. very crucial for us. And we've made sure that we are doing everything possible towards contributing to India's emergence as a technology innovation hub, and also that we're contributing towards a fast-paced growth of India in the telecom space.
Great. Thank you for sharing Ericsson's journey, Priyanka, and what you guys are doing currently, and all the partners that you have on board are, again, amazing. So very insightful. Thanks a lot, Priyanka.
Thank you, Sanjay.
So we have reached the end of today's podcast. Do you have any message for our listeners? Our listeners would be delighted to hear it from you. Also, our audience might want to stay in touch with you post this podcast. So it would be great if you could tell them how they can reach out to you.
Sure. So absolutely. I'll just wrap up by saying thank you for this opportunity. It was great to share some of our insights with you and what I feel will be the key takeaways that's critical for people as they embark on their upskilling journey. I would say that over the past few decades, the telecom industry, as I just said, has undergone a remarkable evolution. And all this is driven by technological advancements and the changing consumer needs. And since this industry has seen a massive transformation from being voice-based, so it was all about voice calls, to lightning fast data speed internet experience today, or data experience today, all this along with AI and 5G, we clearly experience or feel that we are on the brink of something even bigger. So as I would say, 5G is a platform for innovation. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Things that we are just hearing, which will become also reality very soon, and it's already reality in different parts of the world, is things like self-driving cars, performing remote surgeries, also looking at smart factories becoming the reality in the current manufacturing world, looking at remote education, which can really get an inclusive society to come into full force, and also looking at smart cities, right? So to me, it is driving the digitalization of enterprises and fueling the economic growth of countries. That is what this entire revolution will bring. And telecom will be foundational in this journey. And to me, the future of the telecom industry is incredibly exciting. And as we continue to embrace these new technologies, I'm confident that they will not only enhance our lives, but also create new opportunities for growth and development of our people. So Sanjeevani, I'll just wrap up by saying it's extremely critical for people to embrace new technologies, stay curious, have a learning mindset. Remember that you've got to embrace diversity in very many ways. And once you're open to all of that, you are walking into a world of unlimited possibilities where you can make the unimaginable happen. So imagine possible and make the unimaginable possible. Thank you, Sanjeevani.
Incredible. Thank you so much for joining in today's episode, Priyanka. It was absolutely a pleasure to have you. And thank you for all the incredible insights that you have shared. Thanks a lot, Priyanka.
Much appreciated. Thanks, Sanjeevani.
Thanks for listening to the Vantage HR Influencers Podcast. Please do subscribe to Vantage HR Influencers Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.